Okay, so lecture 2. Training. Actually, what? Okay. So, okay. So, in fact, it's a so-called the week 2 lecture, okay? I will try to explain according to my understanding, okay? So, I think some of this part I also have includes the total Yasik lecture. So you can try to read and uh com- try to get from his explanation as well. But I think because I prefer to have my full set lecture as well, so that I will also explain by myself. Okay. So let me do report for this part. Okay, so in this part, we're looking for some sources of the ship vibration. Okay, for the ship vibration. So we mainly are focusing on the ship vibration. Okay, and in the sources of the ship vibrations, we are more focusing on two main sources. This is the so-called external sources and so-called the internal sources. The source for external and the source for internal. Okay, but in fact, external source that can come from the wind wave current. So external source is not really in our discussion, but we are more focusing on the internal sources. Internal source. That means what is the sources that could match the vibration on the structure? Okay, so the first one is the propeller, and the second one is the main engine. Okay, it's very direct. So that means when we're talking about the source of the ship vibration, the two main part is the dynamic loading. The dynamic loadings for the uh, dynamic loadings acting on the ship structure. Okay, in particular, the dynamic loading come from the ship propellers and come from this main engine. Okay, will produce the vibrations to the ship structure. So this is two important sources. So in the exam, you need to understand how to explain the in the so-called in the essay question. How do you manage to explain it in the essay question? Okay. Um. Okay. So the saying is very important to obtain the vibration characteristics in the initial design. Okay. Now I ask you, what is the dynamic loading? Okay, so when we see the equation of motion, right? Just now I give you m okay, let me write again. Plus d s divided by dt plus as equals to f in the time. Okay, when we're talking about the dynamics loadings, okay, you learned about the dynamics, and what is the difference between dynamic and static? Dynamic that has relation with time. Time. Okay. Relation. They have some relation with the time. Okay. Time. So normally dynamic in the dynamic equation, we will expect the time. Time. T, T, and also T. Okay. Time. So in other words, I can say it is also the value is time varying. That means value is different or changing. That means the value will change according with the time. Go up and down, up and down, up and down. So this is so-called dynamics. If this is a static, that means that it's not changing anymore because they already reached the equilibrium. So when we're talking about the static, we ask you to find the equilibrium. When we're asking you about the dynamic, we ask you about the equation at certain time. Right? Okay. So that's why dynamic is a time varying concept. it's a little bit raining, so if you cannot hear from me, you let me know, okay? Because line slowing, okay, slowly varying. Okay, okay. So the dynamics will have the cyclic loads, and the cyclic loads will, you can imagine, they will generate the force, large, small, large, small, large, small. The force suddenly very large, suddenly small, suddenly large and small, back and forth, back and forth. So they will have so-called dynamic loading. So the dynamic loading is the important concept for us when we have the vibration. All right, okay. So this is the free vibration equation. So I will go back to the MKS, MKS. Okay. So this is just a revision, I believe. Okay, because I believe still remember some of the so okay. In the general equation, it's like this. So this is the S, the solution, the general solution for the S in the ODE. Okay, S is the response in the ODE is A cos the ST here is VT or omega T. Omega is the vibrations frequency, okay, and B sine omega T. Okay. So finally, we know that the omega is equals to, or the natural frequency here, omega is equal to K over M square roots. Okay, K is the stiffness and the M is the mass. Okay, so it's equation. So this equation in the exam, I will give you the some calculations, but normally I will give you the equation as well. So you don't need to memorize equations, but you need to understand how to use the right equation at the right calculation. Okay? Uh, so you you need to know lah, how to use the equation in the right one. Okay? Um, for the free vibration, the solution is in the so-called in the general solution. Okay, that's why it is a free vibration. Free vibration, that means we only have the so-called displacement beginning, but on the right hand side, the the Ft is equal to zero. That means the vibration do not have received any outside excitation. Okay, so that means the Ft is equal to zero, which means no external excitation. Okay, from no excitation from outside. So Fs as Ft is equal to zero. Okay, and in this case, it is related to the so-called free vibration. Okay, then how about the force vibration? Force vibration is a concept which in compare with the free vibration. So that means force vibration, the Ft is no longer to zero. Okay, it's not longer to zero. So if the Ft is As omega t plus d sine omega t, the general solution plus the particular solution. The particular solution is accompanied with the force, accompanied with the force. That's why they have so-called this part is the so-called the particular solution. Okay, some variable say A or B or anything here could be zero. Okay, but they call it as a general solution because it is a so-called the most comprehensive solution we managed to write up, but we still need to based on some boundary condition and to find the value of A and B and so on and so forth. Okay, so I just go very quickly on the concept. So I'm not very so for I don't want to make it very confusing on in the detailings of the concept. So I'm very So I will go in a faster way. Okay. So for the particular solutions, normally there is also, as you say, as I mentioned to you, we need to go through with certain general solutions plus the particular solution. Then finally, we managed to find the relationships of the vibration response. Okay, and the force vibration also related with the some response amplitudes. Some response amplitudes, and here, horizontally, which is the natural frequency. So if the value is equal, if the frequency is one of the natural frequency, so that means the resonance could happen. So resonance could happen. So the vibration will be very large. Okay. Mm. So you see, when I go to very quickly, then that means just for your information. If they will be tested in the exam where I believe it is important, then I will slowly explain. So don't worry about it. Okay. Okay. Then come back to the source of the ship vibration. Okay, come back to the source of ship vibration. When we're talking about the ship vibrations, we know that the ship vibration is come from where? It's come from two main sources internally, which is the propeller and the net engine. This is the two main source, right? Two main source. Definitely, wave is come from the external. So, in our class, for this part, we are more concerned about the propeller, the force, the source of vibration come from the propeller and come from the main engine. Um, Auxiliary machinery, right? So auxiliary machinery normally is the parts connected the propeller and the main engine. Okay, so that's why in certain cases we can track it as a separately, but in the most of the time there will be part inside the main engine. Okay, so we will try to put something like in one group. That means that is the another source could be the main engine together with the auxiliary machine, including the bearing, the shaft. Okay, bearing force shaft is also in this part. And definitely wave will be the so-called external. Okay. Um, so the source of vibration will cause what? They will cause the vibration, definitely. So they will cause the vibration. And the vibration on where? There can be vibration of the hard guider. You know hard guider, right? Yes, right? Guider, superstructure. You know where is superstructure, right? And local structure. Okay. So okay, if you know, then I will not go to very, very detailed explanation of what is a hard girdle. Okay. But in general, hard girdle is the so-called is the backbone of the hard form. Okay. That means it's the major backbone. Okay. Superstructure is the in ship structure we name the say the building above the decks is so-called the superstructure. In the offshore structure, offshore oil and gas structure, we name the building above the deck is the top side. So superstructure is the structure, say the bridge, what's the control rooms. Okay. Any structure above the decks is so-called superstructure. Local structure, in fact, is the um, superstructure is in the microscopic view. Microscopic view, that means it's in the overall or large view. Local structure, I saw just now you say you're not sure because local structure is refer to the some vibration only. The vibration in the very limited area. For example, maybe the superstructure, the building do not have the vibration come from the what maybe they do not have the vibration come from the propeller of from the main engine for the building. But suddenly you found that why one windows is vibrates more than the others? One windows. And the so-called particularly one windows is probably because of the resonance happen or coincidentally resonance happen so that they generate a very specific local vibration. local vibration on the local structure. So normally local vibration on the local structure, mostly they come from the resonance. Mostly it come from the resonance. Superstructure definitely they also can come from the resonance, okay. But local structure they could have more possibility for the resonance. Okay. So if you go to the main engine, so this is the very simple drawing from a textbook. So if you look for the main engine of the ship structure, so normally this is the main engine, and the main engine will connected to the propeller by the shaft, and the shaft will be supported by some bearing. The bearing is very huge bearing. Okay, the bearing. Okay, I hope you understand what is the meaning of bearing. Okay, I hope you understand bearing. Okay, bearing is a component which try to make the rotation become smoother, because the bearing will be consisted of the external ring and the internal ring, and between the ring they have some small ball, okay, or small roller. The roller will help the rotation smooth. Okay, so that has a bearing. Okay, um, the bearing and the shaft, and bearing and the shaft also. In fact, in certain area, this so-called the bearing shaft, this part is also can be categorized as so-called the auxiliary machinery. All right. Okay. Then let's see for this one, the sources of the vibration. Um, just now when we're talking about the propeller as the main engine, then they will cause the so-called vibration. Um, but we also have some force vibration which is come from the web. Okay, even towards the web is not directly in this part, but I think when I design this PPT, I also put the wave force here. So the wave force you can see, wow, here, right? Something like you can see here. Right? So the wave force at certain level that can cause a very huge force acting on the ship structure. Okay, so that can cause even you can see the deformation or torsion effect on the ship structure. Uh, and some wave force is come from the what? Come from the so-called the green water. Or sometimes it's so-called as green water. Green water. Okay, you know what is the meaning of green water? Yes or no? Green water? No. Okay. Green water. In another word, is so-called the water run out. Okay, that means the water that run out from the ocean hitting on the fore part of the structure, and then the impact to the front deck. Okay, the impact directly on the deck. Okay, so it's so called the water run up on the deck. So or so called the green deck water. Okay, so that's why it's so called green water. Okay, why can they call green water? Because you know, in the ship, the some of the terminology or the naming for the ship for the ship relevant knowledge is very interesting, because this technology is already for many years. So sometimes they give the name probably is come from many years ago. So it is not so very standardized. Green water because normally they paint the front deck in the green color. That's why the deck color is green color. So the water on the green deck water there is so called green water. Okay, just like this. Okay. So it's very, you know, yeah. This is true because because this was for my professor. My professor tell me the green water is like this. That's why they call it green water. Okay. So as you can see, the green water will cause a very force impact. Uh, force impact or impact force to the ship structure. Uh, the important one is so-called the slamming. Slamming. Do you know what is a slamming? Any idea? Slamming something like you imagine you use your hand or use your palm to hit the water surface. Palm to hit the water surface. Okay? Will you feel something a little bit painful? If you imagine if you use your palm, your hand to hit the water surface, you will feel slightly painful, right? Because the reaction force from the water. But if you try to hit the table, definitely you will immediately feel so painful. Okay. But when you hit the water, you still will feel some painful because you slam the water. Okay. My father me okay, my father slam my face. Okay. But my father never slam my face. Okay. Just give you information. Slam is the slam somebody is what? Okay, slamming. Okay. I slam my son. I will not slam my son. Definitely. Okay. You know, if I slam my son, if that happened in United States, I will be in the jail because child abuse. Okay, anyway. Okay, slamming similar is the ship slam the water. Okay. On the other way, water also slam back the ship. Okay. They try to fight with each other. So that's why it's so called slamming. Okay, slamming. Okay. But you need to know that slamming is the impact force. That means the force is very suddenly very large, suddenly very large. Okay, but that happen in a very short time period. Okay, very short time period, but suddenly the force is very large. Okay, all right. So we go to the okay, I think yeah, almost okay. Okay, I think okay, they will cause the half guided as well to the say half guided vibration as you can see. But that is the so-called springing. That means that the slamming will cause the springing and ripping on the half structure. Okay, slamming is from the external force, but the ripping and springing is from the half structure. Okay, which is the effect of the half structure. However, impossible, almost impossible in the real world, you will see the half form like this, right? Almost impossible you will see the half form like this. Stretching and hoisting is in another condition. Stretching and hoisting is caused by the web, and the web supporting on the distribution loads. So they will cause the something like the back and forth bending and debending, bending and debending, compression and tension, compression and tension. So such phenomena is so-called stretching and hoisting. Okay, but springing is a very certain large force that hits on the structure until the structure need to transfer the energy from one side to the other side of the structure until the end. So they will put something like the spring, will add something to the spring, bring something like that, spring, bring. Because when they do the springing, they need to expand and so-called compress in order to dissipate or release the energy. Okay, so that means the slamming from the web will cause the springing of the structure. Okay, but because as you know this is the simulation, so they make it a little bit something like the bender. Okay, but in fact in the actual world, you if you see something like that, I think it's not a structure. I think it's I don't know it is what. Maybe it's something like the gummy bear. Okay, all right. Anyway, candy. Maybe okay. But ship structure normally, yeah, ship structure is not like this, Okay, so I think up to here is okay for the structure, a source of vibration. So bear in mind, we today when we're talking about the sources of vibration, we're talking about the propeller and the magnet. Okay, So I think I need to stop here, and next week I will continue for the remaining part here, and continue for the week 3 content. Okay. So thank you so much for your attention, and I will try to upload the recorded videos to the e-learning once that has been prepared. And on the Wednesday, sorry, on the next class is okay. Supposedly we have 1 hour class on the Wednesday, but I think we already moved to Tuesday afternoon. That's why suddenly if you why we have a very long class, because we already moved to Saturday to Monday afternoon. So next week maybe we will maintain the similar mode, or we will move to Wednesday, but I'm not sure because I probably have some meeting. Anyway, I will try to update you for information in the WhatsApp group later. Okay, where I got the latest news. Okay, so I think thank you so much, and I really appreciate for your long staying with me for quite long hour this afternoon. I hope this class will be benefit to you. So we keep in discussion, and I will see you next week. Okay, thank you so much. And if you have not signed the attendance, so please sign again the attendance. If you already signed the attendance, so I think you can dismiss from this class. Thank you so much. Okay, have a good day. Bye.